Scarlet Devil going up against Corvinus. Scarlet Devil, I think it'd be fair to say, the third best player in China, Cal.
Sure. I'm just going to agree with you on this one, because I actually do not know that much about the Chinese ladder. I know it's Louis, CSO, and Scarlet Devil.
I think what you really mean is I don't know which one is which when their names are in China.
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Even when they keep changing their freaking names all the time?
No, not
There we
that. Go. Not that.
That's where it gets annoying to keep track of. But Scarlet, he's a player who's made it into like top 30, top 40 before. Used to have people like Yui Metal, who I would have ranked higher, but Yui just disappeared, man. Don't know what happened there. This is kind of unfortunate. There was a time where he was on par with Louis' skill, but you know what? It's time to see if he's on par with the Europeans. Corvinus versus Scarlet Devil. We kick off on Gorge. Game 1 is ready to start.
Let's go. A fable and scary matchup here. French versus Delhi. And mainly considering who is playing the Delhi here, it is Corvinus, mostly known for his Wallalos and his Delhi planes specifically. Scarlet Devil, though, French, opening up with the wheelbarrow, so he's going to be delaying his age up just a little bit, but still able to get a deadly timing on the first night.
So Jules de Francais versus Delhi. This is a matchup that feels quite tight. Skill-based at times, right? Like when you look back at the finals we had for Wallo, right? You had French versus Delhi between Merlot and Puppypaw. That felt like a matchup that could go either way, but that was in the old Tower Victory meta. I think with the changes towards Dome of Faith, this matchup now skews more heavily towards the Delhi. There's still things French can do, though. If we go into the later phase, you're straight away thinking Elephants is doomed for French, but you have to remember that Arbalists are ridiculous. So I wouldn't say that Scarlet Devil has to worry about the later phase of the game. What's going to matter the most, though, is who gets the edge in Feudal here.
It is very, very dependent on how quick and how effectively you can actually be able to secure those sacred sites. Because if you get one sacred site and the villager lead isn't, catching up too much, then yeah. Then French just kind of started going to building that eco lead, and you're going to be having some fun. This is one of the few matchups that Chamber of Commerce is not recommended. I still like to do it occasionally if I'm playing against a worse opponent, but it's still best to go School of Cavalry just because of the way that it kind of just secures yourself against the first couple of Gaussies.
Oh, thank God. When the moment you mentioned Chamber of Commerce, my brain was like, please don't. It's definitely, you don't want to ever go Chamber of Commerce against a raiding type Civ, right? And Delhi go Ghazi, they're going to do that. It's the same logic as why like trading against Mongols feels like a really bad idea, right? Like a Civ that can struggle to get that dive right doesn't need to dive you if your resources are out on the map. So yeah, obviously we're going to be seeing Sark here. Dome of Faith, everything standard. One interesting thing is when you look at the spawn, Corvinus got a double whammy on the south side that is going to be good for gradual pro scouts, but could be punishable by opening knights. It means they know exactly where to look for their target. Scarlet should be going pro scouts here. I'm expecting this to be potentially some spears opened by Delhi, but then Ghazi play versus knights. Those are two of the best raiding units in the game.
I want to see... I want to see effectively what we saw against Voldemar in the previous game, right? Where he kind of just made like three, I think it was up to 3 scouts, lost 1, and then he just made knights, right? You need the knight count to actually be able to contest the Delhi quite effectively, and then you can start adding in the archers afterwards. There is even potentially the situation where if your opponent is greedy, and by greedy I mean going Gaussies or so stable into blacksmith, you could potentially be as greedy as going double stable. And by double stable, I mean you drop another stable because you already have one, right? Yeah. It's an option to do that against Delhi. It's fun because knights are fun. The longevity of that strategy, on the other hand, not the best.
Yeah, I think the other thing that makes it just awkward to contest Delhi, even when you've got knights versus Ghazi, is for a while you did actually have the stables play becoming racks because Delhi were freaked out about the knight raids. Then players very quickly realized, why am I freaked out? I can double produce on the Ghazi, so I can actually mirror the count, right? I can get enough Ghazi to beat knights, and that became then embodied even stronger by the fact that you have these scholars to pull for heals. So we are going to be seeing racks plus stables. This is likely because Corvinus wants to raid and defend. This also gives some flexibility to go along the center of the map, because a very popular play for Delhi, and actually we've seen it from many civs because it's so oppressive, is walling between those two small cliffs around the center sacred site.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that actually the pit was very annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
It's the rotation time. Right, that is the key thing, right? And on the pit, there is no option for you to like magically chop through the cliff and get a better rotation time. But it is that is the case for Gorge, right? You can have a gate in the middle, and suddenly you have a super quick rotation time, while your opponent has to run all the way around.
I'm
And
just gonna say, by the way, I really do want destructive cliffs.
bridges.
No, but like,
Yeah.
It's an alternative, right? Like, you know, imagine mountain pass if there was some cliffs you could break through.
I mean, you get acid distillation and specialized pick, right? So, in theory, right?
I mean, I was thinking just beat the crap out of it with a sword. Don't question it too much, you know.
Arthur and what was his story again? Arthur and the sword.
King Arthur and
King Arthur,
Excalibur. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, potentially, right? So, yeah, Scarlet Devil not going for the greedy option, going for the smart option, knowing
But that's
that,
a
hey,
win. You've just forced a French player to build an outpost, right?
Oh,
Like,
no, I was talking about the archer range.
oh yeah.
But
yeah.
yes, it's definitely a win with the tower as well, right? It's a super good. You're very happy with that one. Now.
Oh wow! Well, you look at that.
Wow.
What a unique new thing we've never seen before in this tournament.
So I wonder just a little bit if Corvinus skipped a little bit. He forgot about some upgrades a little bit early. I think maybe he allowed Piety to be finished before he queued Sanctity. Normally at this stage in the game, you would actually be already capturing sacred sites. In reality, it doesn't really matter, but it's like this small, tiny micro optimizations that actually does add up just enough, I feel like. Because if he's able, like, the quicker you're able to get these sacred sites, the more you're able to nullify the French villager lead you're getting.
Yeah. The other way you can think about though is if you get Piety first, you become unkillable to these early knights, right? It's like it's protecting the investment, because the nightmare fuel here is that you have to go back to gathering on the gold vein. You don't want to have to actively do that past this early point in the game. You do it for the first few scholars. Of course, they're very cheap, but then you just want the passive income to allow you to lean those villages elsewhere. It's like, I don't mind it per se, especially now that he's getting double cap. I feel like that shouldn't be happening here, but Scarlet wasn't in position to block either.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna quote Crackedy, never stop making scholars. The Dome of Faith should be like your second TC. You should always just be producing. Does lose a villager on this one though. It's going to be taking one more shot at the second one. And this is a little bit of a problem with everything that's happening on the map, right? It's really easy to lose track of everything that's happening as we see just like more archers just dying. And the snowball that Delhi is, and the just snowballing effect that happens when you take good fight, it's already starting just a little bit.
This is early though. This is a little bit too soon. Corvinus, the undermesh isn't quite complete yet. Some mistakes made there with the dive. We'll back away before he takes too many losses. But if he just waited an extra 20 seconds, could have done some substantial damage. Meanwhile, the knight is still raiding.
Oh no. Wait, is textiles through?
He does have textiles.
Yeah.
He definitely has textiles here. So learn his lesson. It's always an interesting kind of like point around this matchup. You know you're going to need textiles because even just a subpar French player should be able to get one kill. French knights are that good at it, right? So unless you want to keep a lot of units back, which you never want to do as Delhi. So with that in mind, it's all about when you get it, because it's inevitable was going to happen. But great read by Corvinus, did minimize the losses. It's only one worker kill. And in return, he now has 3 sacred sites, Cal. That is worth about 9 villages.
Yep. Now, you could argue that, like, okay, 2 villagers is technically what is being missed here by Corvinus, because he lost 1. He also got textiles. However, the funny part about textiles is I think at 5 scholars a garrison, it's 9 seconds to get textiles.
Yeah. It's
so
stupidly fast.
You're like, if I can save 2 villagers on this, which he literally just did, textile just paid for itself.
I think like, and this is gonna sound weird because it'll be out of place. I almost feel like textile should just be a fixed 20 seconds or maybe more. Like, to me, to this day, I stand by the statement that textiles in its current format is too good for Delhi. The base research speed is way too fast because the base is 25 seconds. Everyone else spends 20 seconds, but then also has to spend resources on top of that.
And it's 100 gold, right?
And 50
it's not-
food.
And 50 food, so you're paying for a villager as well, not just an addition, right? Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, French is cheating a little bit because they also, like,
Yeah.
the town centers were quicker.
So you're saying I
So-
should always build that second scout as French? I mean,
Against HRE, yes.
I think that is going to come back into the meta, by the way. Like, when they made the
No.
change to the Dark Age TC, like, you ended up with 0.6 villages more than what you used to have when you tech feudal. So you can actually pad yourself with a second scout. And, like, the amount of matchups where that can decide the outcome. You don't want to do it against someone like Delhi. They don't care. They've got berries, right? But, you know, let's say you're against another French player or Jeanne or, as you mentioned, HRE. I think even English to a certain extent. It can be a high-value play.
Yeah, speaking of value plays, though.
Hello. Nice diving in. Wait, no, why are we... The villagers! Kill the villagers!
Hit the villas, please. It's going to be doing a little bit of TC hopping here at least, so that's going to be all good and well. But now the army needs to be coming in as well. A lot of the army from Scarlet Devil is hitting up barracks. That's not going to be doing a lot. He's just buying himself time. The question is, what will he do behind this? Age up, make more army. Make more army is the right choice. I feel like you need to be spending as much time possible at this one. House of Learning is going to be starting to be built once again on Scarlet Devil, throwing away so much damage here. It's absolutely insane.
I can't believe Scarlet. I don't know what happened there. He wasn't really targeting spears. Half the archers were attacking Ghazi consistently. Even looked like he was trying to target them, but maybe misclicking here. So we better mop up the army, but only has 2 knights still diving. There is more still coming. Although you have delayed the tech up, you will not be able to stop it outright. And in return, Scarlet doesn't have a tech of his own coming. And
You just keep going, I feel like.
no, you can't. Like, you're trickling troops. It's what I call the Congo line of death, right? Like, you're sending bio units one by one in. And also remember, most of them are not knights. Like, Scarlet may have 3 knights, but none of them are here. So tech up's going to complete. He didn't decap the Northern Sacred Site either. There's enough food for Corvinus to survive in his base. The only upside right now for Scarlet is, of course, Corvinus isn't on relics. So he isn't getting those extra resources coming out.
Yeah, it's the good news, right? And Delhi has, like, Corvinus has 6. He has 6 scholars right now. So that means he should, you know, in an optimal world in a Delhi player's fantasy, immediately when you age up, cycle through all of your scholars, boom, 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 and you have all of the relics on their way home.
But in this situation, no.
Yeah, not
we,
today.
is this a safety circle? Are we holding hands? They can't kill us if we work together. We'll beat them with kindness. Yeah, but you also won't get any advantage. The interesting part, by the way, is in that fight, like, Scarlet, he came out ahead because he's built an eco lead. He stockpiled resources. The crazy part is if he'd been microing the archers onto those spearmen a little bit cleaner, I actually think we'd already have a GG here. It's like, Corvinus gets a stay of execution. There's no denying that the French are ahead. But we are reaching the danger territory, right? Things like honed blades, elephants is going to be a worry. Scarlet is going to want to start prepping arbitrary ASAP.
For sure. And he can just start and get that going, right? Guildhall now, we unsure what we'll see here. We'll see some fast Imperial play, which admittedly is a way to deal with elephants. Because arbitrary emplacement versus elephants sounds good to me.
Yeah, we just need to drop the red pals on all the stables building those elephants.
Yeah, but, you know, the discount applies to me, so it should apply to you, right? We had the reverse option last game.
Yeah, at least he's reasonable, right? You know, I feel like an Imperial official accidentally misclicks supervisors on my building, it should work.
I feel like during development that was a bug.
I feel like they should have left it.
But yeah, now, like, Corvinus is actually dealing with the trickle units and the small groups of units that Scarlet Devil has all over the map pretty well. He has been able to secure, like, his own safe relic, So at least that's in the bank. And this is one thing that I was waiting for Corvinus to do. With his groups, you can't reasonably take down the scholar that's actually wall blowing. So you just have to leave it and take some extra pot shots from the crossbows. But now it's not going to be able to get home in the first round.
This is way too costly. Corvinus is fighting unfairly, right? Like the military advantage isn't there for him. I mean, the crazy thing is actually if Scarlet, he had 1 or 2 knights just sitting on standby on the sides of the fights, this could have been even more of a rout for him. But it's still a big dub. Remember, half of Corvinus' current army are scholars. They're not going to be able to fight for you here. Honeblades is about to complete, but the funny thing is Honeblades kind of just gets nullified in short fights by Cantled Saddle's default, right? And if you upgrade into Cantled Saddle's full, you pretty much have enough damage burst at the beginning of the fight that it makes Honeblades an equalizer for full engagement.
Yeah, and there's going to be a very, very big throw here, I feel, for Scarlet Devil to actually be able to lose this. Like, he's been doing such a good job. His eco count, or his eco lead right now is 11, right? And yes, that is looking away from the relics, but the main thing you need to look at is the sacred site count. It's 0 right now, right? So that means that you're now currently sitting at a pure eco lead that is so good, will keep on scaling, and the only way Corvinus can realistically get to a point where he's like feeling comfortably, if he gets like 3 or 4 elephants.
Yeah, the problem is the length of time it takes to get 3 or 4 elephants, you're probably looking at mass Arbalest. I think Corvinus is going fast into likely gunpowder elephants, which would solve the arbitrary problem. Come on. He already got punished for fast castling. There's no way he doesn't get punished for fast imping, right? He only has 6 scholars.
It's a way out. It is a way out.
I mean, I guess if you think about it, it's not like you need to research an elite tech with those gunpowder elephants. They are just elite units in themselves. But
they are. The problem for me is buying the time. It's very... This almost feels a little bit like... I don't know if I should use the word, but I'll use it anyways. It feels a bit cockroachy. Or you just have the tiniest bit of nutrient and you just like suck on it and you just live.
Well, Corvinus is definitely going to be sucking on something. Something tells me it might be the long end of a Knight Lance here. They are enclosing upon him. Food is lacking. Corvinus has got the Powerless Sultan coming. He should have enough to protect for a tech up here. However, that Guildhall is trickling away. Scarlet still has map control. This isn't anywhere near I have Imperial Age, the game is over. In fact, this might be one of the weakest scholar counts I've seen for an Imperial play in a long time.
And back to one of the initial points I said at the start of the game. Never stop producing out of your Dome of Faith. It's happened. It's been a lot of skipping. There's been a lot of scholars that's been thrown away. Second TC coming in as well. We didn't really notice this one, but now we're even dropping farms around it. So we're staying here for a bit.
Oh, Scarlet, if we check the Guildhall though, it's already stockpiling, right? So what appears like you're staying here really isn't. Oh wait, really?
Really?
Yeah, he pulled it quite bloody early then. That could have been maximum, what, 600-700 feet, I reckon. Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm surprised he made this choice over just letting it brew into a Red Palace. We have Globulus being crewed up, but we already highlighted, like, the Gunpowder Elephants will be the solution. The good news for Scarlet Devil is they will not be coming out quickly.
Yeah, it's not the fastest unit in the game, right? And we do have more villager bleeding that's just happening. Military Academy actually does impact them, and you can see that being in research now as well for Corvinus. It's still gonna take a little bit of time for this to actually happen, right? Scarlet Devil, his eco lead is so massive right now. he did end up having three relics. I see the win condition for Corvinus, but it's so far out, and it's basically based on the fact that Scarlet Devil is not able to handle
An elephant.
Yeah, handle an elephant, which is ironic because it plays a lot with the elephant boys, meaning Louis and Caesar.
So he's built up an immunity to elephants?
And
Cow,
understanding.
look, he can't hold it. It's free gunpowder elephants.
Yeah. So this was actually fixed a long time, but the only unit left is actually the elite tower elephant. They actually, so just divide by 3 the number you see up there, and then you'll have the real count, guys.
But they are clearly that powerful. I mean, when you
They
think
are.
about it, it is
I
a
mean,
true
there's two-
representation.
Yeah,
right?
it is. I mean, there's 2 hand cannons on top, and then there's the elephant, right?
Yeah. 3 members of the team. There's the gunny boys now, and this is what I was talking about. Like, Arbalest will suck against this. 9 ranged armor. You tickle. You have a 12 base damage on crossbows, so maximum you can do 14. That means only 5 damage is going through into this ridiculously chunky unit. That's why you're
And-
now seeing Scarlet Devil switching into Horsemen.
And it doesn't have any form of tag, right? It's similar to the Freeborn. It's not light, it's not heavy, it's neither.
Sure about that?
So, yeah,
Why does it say ranged cavalry?
because it is ranged cavalry.
So it has a tag.
Yes, but it's not light or heavy.
Oh, that's what I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Horsemen counters is the point.
All
right?
right,
Like,
yeah, it counts. So,
as do Smiths.
yes. So we're kind of just at this very awkward point where Scarlet Devil has a big eco lead. Corvinus has the tech lead. And I'm not sure where we go from here, because...
Are you freaking kidding me? What we
yeah.
do is we build a little fort and we live there. Corvinus has got double bombard. He's building a small outpost base next to his opponent's main. I'm gonna give it to him, man.
So,
This is crafty.
this is the closest thing you can come to a castle in AoE 4. Because apparently, like, this was the reasoning, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently the reasoning for changing the name from a castle to a keep is that a castle had walls around it. And more buildings. So this is a castle while he just destroyed a keep.
Well, no, because he needs to build an outpost in there. Then it's a
Then it's a
castle.
castle.
Because as you said, we have to have a building inside of the walls.
And we have more layers.
So we
Oh,
just
boy.
came from Voldemar layering the walls across the map. Now we have Corvinus gradually building an ever-extending in one direction structure, which over time on the mini-map will look quite concerning. For the time being, on your screen it looks quite concerning. Scarlet Devil needs to address this. Dives in. Gunpowder Elephant's going to try to front line. He'll retreat. Oh no, the other side is
No.
open. He never walled it off. He never
It
walled it
doesn't
off.
matter, he's focusing our elephant. He thinks that is his condition. Villager's gonna be starting up a keep now, so you can have a little bit of secure
Wait, no,
of
cool.
this, so you
This
can
is a
actually make
mistake
a
from
castle.
Wolf.
He's
That's way
throwing
too
away
many
so many
armors.
eco. There's so much eco that's gonna go down here. He needs this eco at home to be able to make units. Yes, so a lot of it is free right now, but he needs these eco units. He's actually losing the elephants. He might be losing the siege too.
We talked about layers, we talked about onions. Well, this is Ogre. There's no way Corvinus is getting this up. Look at the economy, 44 to 106. The idea looked sexy, it looked cool, but Cal, he took that building inside of the walls a bit too serious. He tried to extend a bit too far. And now,
Lord-
elephant fun time is over.
And Lord Doubt smiles upon us as that keep gets cancelled at the very last minute. Scarlet Devil now has a military lead, he has an eco lead as well, and this surely is hard for him to come back. Corvinus needs to be secure. He needs to take the sacred site. He needs to take every single thing he can. The upgrades are slowly but surely trickling through, but he's not having any units that he can actually use that. Like, he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have any eco behind it. Look at his food right now. I don't think there's a little bit of a berries there. Like, his second berry patch is still existing, but other than that, there is nothing left on the map that he can reasonably do.
Can we eat rocks?
No, but you can make wood into farm.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, actually, never thought about that.
Like, because you'd think that farms would need a little bit of food as well.
fertilizer, I guess. I mean, you can use wood. You get the dirt. That's nutrient.
Yeah, yeah, but like, you know, the seeds, right? So like, you need just a tiny bit of food. I don't think the team really thought this one out. Well, Corvinus doesn't need food because remember, Cal, he has got infinite elephants for free.
That is true. The question is, though, will he have the base for it? Because
we don't talk about his base building.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlet Devil, it doesn't look like he needs a guild hall. His income right now is just absolutely cracked. Red Palace is going to be going up into the remains. No, it's actually going on the south side. Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
I saw a big blob, and then I just assumed that was it.
Well, the good news for Corvinus is he has enough houses to protect all of his economy.
Don't need towers if you got deli houses.
They even shoot back. Which
amazing.
is impressive because you'd think the spears would be the ones attacking back. They forget to, and now we've got a cycle to the north side. Corvinus a bit of a pickle because Scarlet is looking for the gold. He's about to find it.
Yeah. Just needs to be looking at the right spot. I mean, Corvinus is everywhere out on the map. Like, he has just units every single spot that you can possibly think about. So, honestly, regardless of where you go, you'll find something. The only thing he doesn't have right now is any defensive structures at home. And I'm starting to almost feel like a base trade.
We have adjustment crossbars on the way, but it's still, what, probably 2 minutes out. And this army is big. Knights are also shuffling back into the main, so Corvinus might get a little bit distracted at a key moment. Mangoes are looking for a freebie. Scarlet Devil should be dodging.
You take this one, though.
Wait,
Raid's gonna be happening. He doesn't have anything in the... Oh my gosh. He's might gonna lose one mango, might not lose the others. Should be able to get a return shot, though. Micro a little bit here is not in the hands of Scarlet Devil, as he does take a big shot, but back home these knights gonna be raiding and having a lot of fun. These mangoes needs to be left protected, though. That's the main thing, because if those go down, that's the main chunk of his army.
We're still so far away from adjustable crossbars. Right, I said 2 minutes, I think it's more like 3. Knights, they're still roaming here, so Corvinus is very limited economy. I mean, I guess the one upside of having only 50 villages at almost 30 minutes in, very difficult to find on the map.
Should have been China. But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that it's taking so long to get the adjustable crossbars is that there's no scholar inside of that siege workshop. But I don't know if you need it right now, because you might just be dead before that happens. The front line here is just spears and elephants. AoE damage taking care of those knights and horsemen really, really well. Microing mangonels on top of the archer, so the archer mass is gone in a blink of an eye, and Scarlet Devil's military mass now suddenly just gone by the hands of the elephants. Sorry, the hooves of the elephants.
Am I the delivery door for a glue factory? Because that's a lot of dead horse. The amount of cost there. French just dunking several thousand food down the drain. The gunpowder elephants are proving way too strong here. Scarlet Devil is now trying to get his own hand cannoneers going. Oh, I like those. They're pretty damn good. The Knights have at least been still raiding here, so Corvinus has been struggling to actually get reinforcements through. It's the only upside right now. And remember, because he did build that red pass on the flank, there isn't a win condition on landmarks that just exists easily for Corvinus. So Corv takes a good fight, but Scarlet still nowhere near truly dead here.
Yeah, and we saw him try earlier to build a keep, right? And School of Cavalry now down. But we saw him try to build a keeper, or he had a keep earlier. It just got so completely demolished by bombards.
Yeah.
So he needs to try to do that again, so we can actually get a little bit of arbalist emplacement going to defend against the elephants, sorry. But instead, what's happening is that he's kind of just bleeding out. He's just taking damage. Royal Bloodlines now coming in. So that means that all of these fights he's been taking, all of these raids, has happened without Royal Bloodlines. And remember, yes, all of the university techs got upgraded to have different costs. You know, adjustable crossbars, silk bow strings. Royal Bloodlines still only cost 300 food and 700 gold. It's cheap. It's a cheap university tech that he hasn't gotten.
He's got to come in now. Should be the difference maker. The quality of army really starting to equal out now. And that castle is not rushed. Corvinus only brought 2 villages forward to construct it. So there is actually a window for this to fail still. Scarlet needs to be a little bit careful with his rally point though, just throwing away troops carelessly. We do have more and more farms, but they're getting ever so close to the keep drops on the flank. Corv, by the way, should be capable of pumping out new villages, but he has no food, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't even have village fortresses.
I mean, I don't think he has a keep to even build.
He has on the west side.
Oh yeah, sure.
On the gold. I think he might even have one on the south side on the other gold.
Oh,
so
well,
like...
that keep's not going up.
Oh no.
Oh, it is? Maybe?
The villagers are still alive. The castle's definitely not up.
I mean, he's effectively charge cycling the elephants, right?
Moving
Which
it
is
down
a good
the
way.
back. The other thing to keep in mind here is these knights are incredibly tanky. We did finally get those royal bloodlines we were talking about. And although the elephants are chunky, they might not be chunky enough.
One goes down.
I think this should be enough to bring the elephant count down to maybe just one.
I don't think so. I think 3 of them should stay alive. 2 of them, sorry. I mean,
Remember, this is like snowbally though, right? Like, as you got a lot, you kill fast. As you go and shrink
but
the
more
count.
is coming in. I think target the siege. That's the costly. That's the thing he has paid for, right? Take that siege down. Make sure that they can't siege it. Make sure they can't landmark snipe you, most importantly of all. But now,
Corvinus, I think we've reached the point where like he can't pump. Right? Like, look at the food income. Let's just
look at Scarlet Devil's bank.
Great, let's stop being like he hasn't got much in there right now, but he has much coming. Is the point? Like, let's stop being delusional about this. Let's address the real elephant in the room. This was a cool attempt by Corvinus. He came so close, but the amount of time in this game that he has had 0 food income is simply unacceptable.
And he's buying food, right? He's trying to add something. Added more spears now. Last siege unit is going to be going down, and Corvinus, I think he's kind of ready to give up on this one, but honestly, he's not to give up.
I mean, he's like, I will build spears now. Yes, your opponent has only started to scale hand cannon. This can definitely not go wrong.
Village fortresses.
Oh boy. So just to clarify, the guy with 32 food and no food income is now prepping his castles. He's also dropping 2 TCs at home behind his primary, by the way, which is going to go phenomenally well with 0 food.
Look, you need a drop-off point for your farms, right?
Oh, true. And a garrison point.
And a garrison point, but you have houses for that.
Yeah, but like, it's not efficient, right? Because you don't want to put the house where the mill should be. That's just silly.
That's very silly. You need something that does both. And a town center does that. Now the horseman is going to be trying to raid it. I think this is genuinely a mistake. You should just spread out and try to kill as much eco as possible, because you don't really know what's been going on behind this. Another keep's going to be dropping in the middle here to actually try to secure the sacred site. Big gold's going to be secured as well. And you should just put pressure on Corvinus right now by taking the sacred sites. You should also just take a bunch of horsemen, just spread them all over the map. Even, and we talked about this before, scout. Make a scout with these. Just figure out what the hell your opponent is doing. Because right now, Corvinus, you don't know if he's been adding TCs behind this, right? You expect him to have a big economy because he's been idle. He's not been showing units for so long, right? So he must have been doing something behind this, but the truth of it is he hasn't. Also, Scarlet Devil, barracks doesn't get discounted by keeps. Just saying.
Ooh-wee. Is it Ramadan? I thought that was February to March. You think so, because it feels like it's been a month since the Delhi been eating. We finally have food income again.
It's gonna take a long, long time. And honestly, if Scarlet Devil just keeps pushing on this, if he keeps hitting, if he just kept on going there, he would have seen that farm transition. He would have known exactly where to attack. But instead, he's just going to be man-at-arms, hand cannoneers, horsemen. Kill the damn opponent. That's all he wants to do right now.
Kill the elephant, source of their power. It is not enough to simply kill the wielder of the ring. You must thrust it into Mordor. Down with the pass of the Sultan and down with the Delhi. An opening win for Scarlet Devil.
Whew, okay. That was a long drawn out one. Christ. Been talking for a bit too much now.
I forgot what food looked like after that game.
Instead, though, English Xuji. Let's just go straight into the next one because that was sweet. Oh boy. So, this is fairly interesting. We have seen English go Pro Scout.
Hmm. I don't want them to, but yes, we have seen them do it.
It's there. It's an option.
It's like English going Pro Scouts is kind of like. It's kind of like Crackety losing his mind, shaving his head bald, and running down the main street naked screaming.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, you don't want to see it though, but you kind of do, right? And that's English Pro Scouts in a nutshell. Like, the fact you're against Xuji, you think would force it, but I think it's a mistake to do. You can't mirror the timing of Xuji at all. So, like, that leaves you with aggro or 2TC. Well, we've seen 2TC is usually the undoing of anyone up against Pro Scouts. English might be the one civ that can justify it, but on a map like this, there is a play onto the pond, into pressure, that Scarlet Devil could entertain.
Yes, I've entertained the idea, and I realize it's not a good idea.
Wow. Thanks for inviting me into your house, Cal. Open the door, shut it again, didn't even let me rub my feet on the rug, asked me for a drink, shut it down in seconds. Didn't even play it out.
You used some of my heat, and I'm gonna give you an invoice for the heat that you used.
That's, well, oh yeah, your bills are pretty bad there.
Mm.
But let's see if the English look bad here. Historically, a matchup that used to favor them, but the Xuji are rising through the ranks. Let's see if they're enough to get Corvinus back in the series, or if we're in for a sequence of events where top tier civs just keep not working for Corv.
Xuji. How nice of you to be here. So, first things first, let's scout for meditation garden spots, and I immediately see one right behind his base.
It's only the 6 berries.
It's only 6 berries. You could go for the one in front. I think it should be reasonable to get a little bit of wood, 2 stone, and gold. This one's also pretty decent.
There's one on the far north, the 8 stack of berries, but it wouldn't get you the gold. It wouldn't get you stone. It would just get you a big wood line. So, like, you know, this is the thing with meditation gardens. Not often are they broken on Himiyama. They are usually fairly reasonable. He'll get an okay one here. I think what really you want to focus on in this matchup is the Pro Scouts forces a style of gameplay that English aren't comfortable with. It's not a civ that wants to go Pro Scouts themselves. It's a civ that usually wants to be looking at 2TC into Fast Castle. And I have seen many TC builds against Pro Scouts in the last few weeks, Cal. I feel like I can count on one hand the amount of times that TC won.
Yeah, it's not a good option. One of the things that we could potentially see as well, right, as a response to the Pro Scouts, which I'm just theory crafting on the spot, and I don't know, I haven't seen it, but I'm expecting someone to actually have tried it. Specifically in this matchup as well, is King into a couple of horsemen into Castle.
Yeah, so Abbey of Kings, Horseman Raid Heal, that blocks the Scouts. That also blocks usually playing Horseman as well. It means they have to go Spears. Not a bad idea. And I think you can go like Fast Castle into Men-at-Arms Opener. It's actually pretty decent. But, oh, well, you look at that. English are so innovative, Cal. What is this build that we're seeing from Scarlet Devil?
So this is the new patent pending fascinating build.
Well, I'm fascinated now. What do you do?
I can't tell you that because the patent is pending and I don't want to release it just yet.
Oh, and you know, patent system. I know how they are. Yeah, they take years to do.
Yeah.
This one feels like it's been a year since it was discovered.
2 years, 3 years. Anyways, meditation garden, not exactly where we wanted it, but it's still a pretty decent stone gold.
Oh, you're in double stone, huh?
I don't know if that spot specifically reaches double spot.
You should, because otherwise he messed up, right? There's no reason not to get double stone.
Oh, yeah,
oh wait, he doesn't get the gold.
Oh,
that is weird. Oh, so he could have just shifted the east side tile, maybe lost like 2 wood, and got double stone gold. I think.
I mean, you could just I mean, with that stone and with that wood, the time it takes for a tower with hand cannon slits to actually pay for itself It's not that long, right?
No.
And that secures your gold.
And that also, by the way, what allows them to do, focus on the pro scouts, build an outpost on the gold, go fast castle. The king can't
Yep.
easily dive there, right? The other cool thing is there's a very neat build for the Xuji that makes double stone pay off eventually very well. And that build is fast castle, monks. By the time you get all those relics home, you're like 9 or 10 minutes in the game, right? The passive stone generation is either enough to buy a TC or borderline there already. So it has a surprising knock-on effect, and we have seen that 2 TC after the fast castle is remaining a very popular and effective Xuji build.
Yeah, it's similar. It's a little bit similar to how I bid sometimes play, right? We saw Voldemort play it in that game, where you go castle, you drop your second TC, right? That was kind of a little bit the idea behind the industry wing changes that happened a while ago, where you got stone and you got wood, you would immediately just drop a couple of production buildings that you needed. So say you wanted to do a Gulam rush, or you wanted to do some Lancers, you drop 2 production buildings and you drop your TC at the same time. Hasn't really been the case. The most we've seen out of industry wing is either some cheese on Holy Island, which people tried to do, or some shenanigans like Stonewall Towers, like Dragovan has tried to do with that wing.
So, here's the sucky part of 2TC. You'd think that a smart way of playing 2TC here, Scarlet, would be to drop that town center on the deer. That screws over the pro scouts. You can't. If you do that, you're going to get Zhuganu all in. So you have to go for this, which means we're going to be looking at farms, which means we're going to be looking at a very slow castle age, which means that pro scouts into monks, Corvinus could very easily have a 5 relic game by 13 minutes.
Yeah, it also... The big question, and the thing you gotta like question yourself, is like, okay, but can you survive long enough where you going for farms and your opponent going for pro scouts is worth it for you? I don't know when that point is, but it's probably somewhere close to like the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, it's like English. If this goes late enough, Infuriator can survive. I'd never write off Xuji in the late game anymore, though. Like, this is just a civ that have started to find their late game identity, and I'm pretty impressed by it. It's like, for me, Scarlet's timing window should be... I mean, I feel like it should have been early game. It feels too late now, right? Like, you can't go 2TC, play long feudal. How do you do this, Scott? In theory, if you get to the hyper late game, win guard, right, and build a premium army, you can't discredit the power of that.
Yeah.
This
is what I wanted to see, right? Like, this is how you deny the pro scout, but you can only deny pro scout at one spot.
Yeah, and we have Zhu. Corvinus isn't going for a fast castle. He's going for an all-in.
I mean, it's 2 TC, right? You're going to be ahead of your opponents because you have pro scouts. And that quick influx, the fast influx of food that you already get at this point in time, can sustain you for longer.
2 things. The secondary TC is insulated behind the primary. And you're trying to all-in English, which I would say is the hardest civ to break in Feudal Age.
Yeah, but look at Scarlet Devil. Like, Scarlet Devil has not prepared anything.
Wait, what?
He's making barracks. Man-at-arms?
No, it has to be spears because the horseman dives, right? So he'll open spears, and then he's going to need to look for a longbow window. I've seen this type of build before. It can work. It's just somewhat reliant on your opponent being lazy more than anything else. And I don't see Corvinus as a lazy individual with the way he plays. You know what the good feeling about this is? We're about to watch English die.
Oh.
That's like up there. Top 3 civs you want to see lose right now, right?
I mean, so far a good series. First Delhi dies and then English dies.
Right? Like, so I don't... Did they drop Byzantines and HRE? Like, I mean, I want to see them lose as well.
Touche.
And then China to round out. I mean, chef's kiss, if that's the case. I mean, we're seeing a Chinese player lose, but, like, it's not the same.
Yeah. So yeah, Corvinus' mass right now is looking absolutely scary. He knows where that second TC is now. I don't think he's directly scouted it, but you know, deduction still happening.
Mhm.
Shuganu though should be able to get very easy pickings on some of these villagers. Dolly horses coming in as well means that they will be extra effective. And the mass from Scarlet Devil is going to be running quite short of what's needed. On top of the fact that where will Scarlet Devil get wood from next?
Yeah, so like Corvinus should not rush a dive here. You're looking for double ram at about 10.5 minutes in, and that'll start to apply pressure. The really key thing here is like adding in the third ram. I see so often people stop at 2, and it makes it kind of easy for English to narrowly survive. If you break that TC quick enough, you're going to be smashing face here, right? Like, what you mentioned about tree lines is correct. He just needs to patrol southeast, southeast. That's going to prevent Scarlet from getting lombos, spearmen, and farms. Everything that he'd need to win this game.
Yeah, and is like again, right? If he's able to stop that, because look at how the wood lines are situated. If you could have a quick look at his main TC,
Not this guy.
Scarlet AVs, Scarlet Devils.
Yeah,
It is
it's
incredibly
so
hard. Like he's
uncomfortable.
taking the one TC that he's secured and locked down, and the one that's closest to
Ooh.
him.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's snaky. So I was about
Okay.
to say Scarlet Devil. I thought it would be cool to see him go the west corner. Because if you look at the west tree line, it's actually really weirdly shaped. He could have like embedded himself right in the corner. But that's apparently too predictable. So
He's not
Scarlet
going to get
Devil.
scouted.
No,
I
because
don't
the
think
scout
Corvinus
has
gonna scout
no
it.
reason to check
Unless
that.
the
He's
king
going to go
pushes
around the
away.
back.
The king might push the scout into it. No, it's going to wrap around.
No,
Okay,
no,
this
because
is...
he's checking that tree line. He thinks that he's going for the play I mentioned. That would make sense here, right? He's gonna be careful about the aggro because this might. Oh, no, no, he's good. He's good. Good. He's so good. He's got it.
My God.
And Corvinus is still going to end up losing the scout because remember the king moves quicker than the scout.
And this is so important as well, right? Because this will allow, like, this will make Corvinus waste a lot of time and resources trying to hit a king, the Abbey of Kings and some farms on the front line, while not being able to shut down anything that Scarlet Devil has, right? However, the horsemen here should be able to wrap around, and Scarlet Devil has been incredibly greedy as well.
Like every English player ever. Raid comes in though. This is big. Horseman. Get the pincher on the tree line. The interesting thing is that kind of actually reassures Corvinus that there's no more wood.
Yeah, he's like, this is no more wood, right? He's on farms. He's on sheep. I don't know how many sheep he's got. He might be a little bit of gold. I can't really scout the gold. It might be in the back. But where is he now? His scout has wrapped around, so he knows that something's up, right? But where is the rest of his villagers? He thinks he has scouted everything, because why the hell would he be on that northern wood line?
I think we have berry gathering from Scarlet as well. Looks convincing, but also gives you that influx you're going to need because men-at-arms are being pumped here. A little bit difficult to dally horses, but with the attack speed buffer, you balance it out. With the double TC fire, you should have the edge. Rams are moving in, but they aren't targeting the TC. They're going after the farms. He really does believe the wood is all gone.
Scarlet Devil is out of sheep as well, right? So needs to be able to move. It needs to be moving to those bears in the back. That's where he needs to be gathering from. We're just diving double TC. English has all of the upgrades.
Yeah. So Steel Darrow's not there, but the horsemen, I think Corvinus just threw them away. That was unnecessary. He jumped the gun here. And that's Zhug tanking double TC. Scarlet is about to be in control of this game. Corvinus, the obvious play would have been to go for the vast castle. He didn't want it. And instead, yes, he's halfway towards that play, but Scarlet now has a 10 eco lead. He still has a functional economy, and he has an opportunity now to rebuttal with a counterattack.
Villagers rise up, shooting back at the horses, and immediately just replaces the farms. Because English, 37 wood per farm. I don't care about that.
Yeah, do the maths on that. He killed, what, 4 farms? So that
No, he
ends
killed
up
5. He killed 5.
Okay, 5 farms, right? So we'll give him the 5 farms. Firm handshakes, right? So he killed about, like, what, 180-ish, 85 resources. Meanwhile, he lost 3 rams.
And horsemen.
Yeah, like, I'm just keeping it simple between the Rams and the Farms, okay? I'm letting them have their fight, you know? The Rams lost the Farms, is what we're getting at there. And now, Corvinus, this should be obvious to Scarlet. Why is he running away from his base? He knows he's already beelining towards the main of Corv. Corv, Mount Luke Academy is now on the way. Scarlet Devil was not near his own tech up. The 2TC definitely did keep Corvinus competitive here. But I think we're about to see him lose some troopers too. There's some villagers at that.
And the thing that I see in Twitch chat, somebody asking why, like, going for Abbey makes 0 sense. It makes perfect sense. Because you gotta realize that with the Abbey and the threat of the healing that it provides, you can't take pot shots, you can't take short trades. You need to take these hard trades and kill the unit. You can't just idle unit and, you know, do a little bit of damage. You need to kill a unit to kill a unit. You can't just take 2 rounds on it.
Yeah.
Now,
it's also it locks fast castle. That's the whole point that's been obnoxious about English 2TC for a long time. That free king stops you from being greedy. You have to react to it.
Yeah. So now, instead, what's going to be happening is the entirety of the eco of Corvinus. Look at that, 31 villagers idle right now. And the rest of them, I'm pretty sure they're running around. I mean, these horsemen can try to clear up some of the reinforcements, try to clear up the longbow mass, but the longbow mass is so big. These upgrades that needs to be coming in for Corvinus, he needs to be getting them ASAP, but I don't think he has any units to get them on. And if he's able to even get any lancers, anything to hold, the longbows doesn't matter, or they don't care, sorry, because they're longbows. They just do so much damage.
So the kick in the teeth is this. These longbows are right next to the scouts drop-off point. The deer can't be gathered from if Scarlet just moves south here. So this Palace Guard idea is cool from Corvinus. He's not going to be able to get anything. Look at it. That's all the food right there. This is like the Mongol conundrum at 30 minutes in. Why are all my sheep on one spot? It's the same for the deer player here. So Scarlet, best thing you can do here, stop packing off this far. You're actually giving Corvinus a recovery arc by staying so far away.
Yeah, and this is so rough. Yes, the berries in the back is there, but look at that. If you look at how the deer carcass is spread out. Prime range for a longbow to shoot at you. And he can just camp here, right? He can just safely camp here because he knows all of this food is there. He can see the TC being idle.
And he sees the Mount Luke Academy, so he knows there's no monks coming. I mean, not even that he can afford them. Also, another thing is Undermesh 2 isn't there yet. So these
this is upgraded Palace Guards.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it, because remember they have less armor. That's the trade-off. They're not as chunky as standard men-at-arms. And the longbows are better archers, higher base damage, which is why they're trading better than you'd expect into a castle armored unit.
It's the hope for Corvinus.
He's so dead. Like, this is ridiculous. You can't. I mean, Nestabees. I think Longbow and Micro beat that as well, right? And Corvinus knows what's happening here. I mean, sure, it's a lot of units coming his way, but he knows that Scarlet is saving for castle.
He's trying his best, right? It'll stop the flood for just a little bit. Scout's going to be taken out just to make sure that there's no more pro-scouting happening. I don't think there's a lot of deer left on the map, though. Frontline has been knocked out now for Scarlet Devil. King being in the back now as well. Probably kill a couple of ills there. But this 2 TC, yeah, I kind of forgot Corvinus went to TC. White Tower drop. Unfortunately in the base. Kind of boring, but you know, securing the win and not risking anything.
I think he got baited by the organic stone from the double meditation garden too much, right? Like, he thought he had his timing, but it did slow down the pressure point. Lombos not gonna be able to clean this up. Like you said earlier, Corv definitely gonna be kicking himself when he sees that replay, sees that tree line. I mean, it's understandable where he's coming from, why he thought this game was over. But you've got to give so much credit to Scarlet Devil for the timing on that sneak out. He read the room perfectly, understood when he could get to that key wooden resource. And now looks poised to be at match point, 2-0 up in a best of 5 against Corvinus.
And yeah, that Palace Guard is going to go down, making sure that is lost. And well, I mean, I can't think of anything else but that sneak out. I'm sorry. That sneak out is just beautiful. I was so scared. My butt was clenched when that scout was moving north. Because if that goes just 2 more tiles, he wouldn't see the villagers. He would see, why is there a lumber camp here? Wait a minute.
Right.
There's 15, 20 villagers out here with no walls. That's why I said it was so greedy. Because if Scarlet Devil had walled in, that needs to be the response, right? That needs to be the response, is wall in or build a tower. If he does either of that, that is more buildings for your opponent to scout. Which means that if that got scouted, the game would have been over. The margins on this game was so incredibly low.
And you know, it's crazy because we're going to have another game where Corvinus is going to have to try this level of aggression to come out on top. But we got Japanese. Japanese that usually isn't seen as a high priority pick. This is a really good map for them. Kalauga, a top map, in fact. You know, I thought maybe instead we see something like Mongols by Corvinus reading it, but I think he was maybe paranoid of a Malian pick. That should have, actually, the more I think about it, like Mongols would have made the most sense for Corv on this map. I guess maybe he was a little bit paranoid about not having as much flexibility of Lakeside. So going Jeanne instead, I would say Japan can have a really good time here. If not enough pressure comes out from Corvinus, we're going to see Jeanne once again flop dead today, because Japanese, just like when it's up against French, has a hell of a good time on that Castle Age opening. Question is whether Corvinus wants aggro or the play for late game, where the fact that Japanese don't have crossbows leaves them feeling in pain against the Francais. Let's find out. Time to hop into Kalauga for what could be Corvinus' final game of qualifier number 1.
So we talked a little bit about this on Thursday, where it's like, I actually do not mind French and Japanese, especially when there's water involved, because your knights are so potent, your horseman is so good. As JD though, I'm fine playing JD Japan on land even. If I see Dry Arabia and I get this matchup, I'm actually pretty happy, because JD can do so much damage against Japanese, and fast castle civs. However, I said this earlier today as well, when it was against Byzantines, and Byzantines JD is such a good matchup for JD. We'll see what Scarlet Devil has in store here, though, as both of them going for a dock opening.
Yeah, kind of interesting that Corv went into the dock opening. Now, I think Corv, I've seen what he likes to do with Jeanne here. You might remember he's one of the first players to just experiment with this idea of like hybrid maps, Jeanne, where you force boats to be built so that you can get a lot of XP farm. There's some maps where I can see that making sense. I don't see your opponent falling for it on Kalauga. For Japan, it's such a low investment that if you start doing that, they don't care. They just bypass and go fast castle. The other thing is Shinobi can stop you in your tracks from scaling that play. Yeah, a lot of problems here. We're probably going to be seeing Coca Township. It's just really good for assassination opportunities on Jeanne. It also just gives you options, whereas what Japanese players learned really quickly is Kura Storehouses, you pretty much saying you can't do anything for the first 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, the only time Kura Storehouse really makes sense is on like Archipelago or something where it's
I mean, even there,
even
like,
then it's like you if you have the APM, if you have the awareness to transport ship and Shinobi drop, might as well. It's fun. But yeah, this will certainly be a little bit interesting how this plays. I actually don't know, and this is maybe some blissful ignorance. I don't know how JD and Shinobi interact. Either like if it's ranged form or melee form. I actually do not know how they
You have to go ranged form. If you go melee form, you just die. Because the Shinobi hit for 23 damage against you, right? So you have 2 armor, you take 21 per strike. That means that you die in 11 shots from Shinobi. And Shinobi have really quick attack speed. They also have the movement speed to match you.
And the teleport.
Yeah, and that's the catch, right? The teleport is the biggest deal, because what can happen is a high-level Japanese player will Shunshin behind you, and then you walk around them, which means they get multiple hits in. It's freaking brutal. So yeah, like ranged allows you to kite, allows you to snipe. The problem you have as well is that if you're not up to scratch on your micro, Shinobi can also beat knights. It sounds silly to say, but the whole idea is you just micro back the injured, and then you keep Shunshin stacking. Right? Like, I've seen it a few times. I still remember when Jeanne and Japanese first came out, I watched Puppy Paw lose to a rank, I think it's like rank 120 player, because he Japanese Shinobi all-in'd him while Puppy Paw was playing Jeanne.
disgusting.
Vile Civ. We should definitely not buff Japanese. I mean, what's that tier? They're C tier. Come on. Definitely don't need to be better. No, this Civ is pretty sad. And oh, okay.
Maybe as Scarlet Devil has seen my games versus Japan on 4 Lakes and realized how good I am with Knights against Shinobi.
I mean, I have seen one player do Kurosta House on 4 Lakes and kind of convinced me it can work, and that was Dimmu. Shout out to Benny Boy, but he's the only one. Scarlet, I think I've seen him do Kura before. Like, there aren't many players that still do Kura frequently, but he may be one of them. Like, you have to remember this is a water hybrid map. Maybe he wasn't expecting Jeanne to mirror water because it is a little bit funky.
I'm trying to think as to the reason of going Kura Storehouse, and I realistically can't really go with one. Maybe it's the lack of one. Like,
It's just safe
maybe
food,
it's
right?
it is safe food, and it's also like the hesitancy of not wanting to feed JD. I do realize actually this is not a term that a lot of people that didn't play Dota or League actually is common with. Feeding. Or intentionally feeding. It's just giving your opponent XP, right? So in this case, it would be just feeding your opponent Shinobi and then XP to JD.
Yeah, like the thing is, feeding has existed in Age of Empires 4 from before Jeanne got added, actually. Like,
Yeah.
Mongols, right? Making bad choices on where you place your buildings is feeding Mongols. It's like, that's, by the way, is an interesting matchup where I think you should never, ever build Kurosta houses against Mongols, because you will feed them farms. But, like, here, you could actually... I'm trying to remember if Jeanne gets XP from the farm kills. I don't think so, because...
She does.
Are you sure? Because there are plenty of situations where free units don't generate XP. I've noticed this is a few.
Kremlin,
Yeah.
most notably.
Yeah, Kremlin's the obvious one. There's been a few others. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Like, military wing will, but I've seen, like, the king, for example. This is a very weird interaction, actually. The first English king will not generate XP, but the second will. Now, that's odd.
I wonder it might be potentially the same with Shinobi. I should play this matchup with Shinobi a couple of times, maybe.
Even if it does give XP, like, I mean, it's 10 XP, it's nice. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the sadness, man. Like, Scarlet countered you. He goes for the dunk, he doesn't even get it.
And this is great. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, wait.
Is he just blobbing for a kill? He is.
I mean, that has to be the prep. That has to just straight up be the prep.
No, I think he's going to try to starve gold. It's difficult, though. Like, you're going to have to dive again before Jeanne fully heals, so she will die. Aristotle's is already coming in. Steeled Arrow is also getting prepped, which is a little bit unorthodox from Scarlet, but he's paranoid about those knights.
Yeah, it's just the extra damage on the towers, right? Plop gonna be coming over. So, for those who haven't played JD that much and want to play against her, so how ranged JD works is that you need 2 basic attacks, so 2 normal attacks, and then you can use your Q ability.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, it doesn't matter which order, but, you know, if you 2-shot an archer, you can kind of animation cancel. Very hot topic right now. Your Q to, like, immediately get it off and secure the villager kill, which is what Corvinus tried to do earlier there, right?
Yeah, but it's like the awkward thing here as well is if Scarlet Devil doesn't panic react when he sees Jeanne come in range, he can still get a very efficient castle timing without idling gold. Right, like last time he overreacted, he seek shelter on all the villages. You only need to seek shelter on one side. Also, like, he's intentionally leaning his villages east side, so they're further away from Jeanne. And we're about ready for the tech up. We also have an archer range getting dropped, which is really smart because I actually prefer archers here. You can kill everything with them. Arthur comes in, seeks shelter, betraying him a little bit, but the torch is there. Not enough stone to get the fortifications, but remember, he did get arrows, so I don't think Corvinus was expecting that.
And +1, so these are doing way more damage than you actually would expect. Target the knight, please.
Yeah, please. There's, like, the heavily injured knights. He's just ignoring Scarlet, making a mistake. He still hasn't sniped it. What?
I mean, you need the awareness. It's very hard, right? You can see here, so...
Yeah, but he got aware there. That was perfect, Micro. He didn't actually skip a beat. So the secondary tower is recovering it from him. Now, he did lose 3 villagers for this, but look at the losses for Corvinus.
Absolutely massive. 4 villagers even. The XP from JD, not substantial here because of the villager and tower actually not giving the most amount of XP now, but should be able to get Castle no problem behind this whatsoever. A couple of horsemen has been made just to deter any more attacks that should be coming in. But he's just aging. He needs anything to be aging up right now. And the reason, by the way, it's so easy to fast castle for Japanese here is the fact that this map spawns with basically no sheep around you. He has fish, and the first deer pack literally spawns in pushing range, so it's super easy to push in.
Of course, better gathering rate than sheep anyway. So dive comes in again, but that tower is once again alive, and notice he just goes straight after the spears. He can even finish off the knight easy peasy. I think Corv is dead. He's got nothing.
He's got nothing more now. And the big problem as well is Corvinus doesn't know what he needs to invest into. Because he sees that there's a stable. He sees that's an archery range on the opponent's side. What is he going to make? Spear against Onimusha? Kinda sucks. Horsemen against knights? Kinda suck.
I mean,
what are you going to make?
You can just Yumi. You can legit just Yumi. It's kind of hilarious here, but you can genuinely Yumi with Mount Samurai, and it slaps the crap.
Oh, okay. So it's going to be Mounted Samurai first.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you open Mount Samurai every day of the week because it's just the most beneficial unit, right? But you follow up Yumi, and it's brilliant. Like Lucifer and Vortex in particular love this type of build. It's super effective because it just blobs your count. It's also really nice because Jeanne just doesn't get much XP from killing Yumi, but they can chase her down and kill her. So yeah, rough situation here. As the first knight does come out, Corvinus has to retreat. Doesn't really have much XP to show for it either, right? Like, I imagine he's probably 250, 280, 500. And it's ranged on anyway, so it doesn't really do that much with age 3 here, not against Mount Samurai.
Yeah, the only reasonable thing you can kind of do is if Scarlet Devil does go for an Onimusha switch, you go for the Horseman or Jeanne's Riders. I've tried going full Jeanne's Rider into Onimusha, and it still sucks.
Yeah, because they don't, the damage tag is a bows against crossbows.
Yep.
Like, it's literally the one interaction in the game where Onimusha feels better than crossbows.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way, which I'm not happy about. But yeah,
but you are tanky.
I'm tanky. Full setup now for Scarlet Devil on the Kuro storehouse. I think it's even moved over to creating passive wood now because of the deer carcass. So yeah, should be. Yes. It should be next ticket.
He's generating wood,
yep.
And that's going to go into the Yumi. So here we go. This is the 1-2 punch. And because you've got Mount Samurai, Corv is an age behind. He hasn't been building knights. He's not going to go back to building knights, right? We've seen Adam now, but it's mass spears. So the Yumi is going to clear the way. Mounted Samurai decimate French knights, even in the same age, in fact.
Yeah, and this is such a big problem, right? Because of, again, back to the point of the double production. What am I supposed to be prepping against my opponent? If Scarlet Devil saw that there was 20 spearmen, okay, sure, yeah, let me just go Onimusha, obviously. Or Yumi. Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you build, you can't. So what he should have done is just stay back at his home, let him castle up, and then just build whatever, right? Just stay at home. Obviously, that's not the best outcome, but it's an outcome that might have been better than this one. Siege Engineering being prepped now as well. He really wants to go for this kill, but the massive Scarlet Devil is massing up behind this, and the quality of it as well is just too high and too much for Corvinus to deal with at the moment.
That is a Yorishiro drop in the archer range. Look at the speed Yumi upgrades coming in. This has revealed actually a really good time for Scarlet. Needs to be a little bit careful not to overextend to begin with here. Wait for the text. The boy's going to be there. He's not waiting though.
Taking this fight way too early.
No, but the spearmen are gone. The spearmen are practically gone. There's like 2 left. And there's 3 Mounted Samurai. I don't think Scarlet needed to defend this early.
It's way too early, this fight. I mean, this tower was not helping out at all, basically. It was just doing a little bit of pot shot here and there. JD now starting with the amount of Mounted Samurai kills that has been gotten here now. It feels like she might be uncomfortably close to getting level 3. And at that point, sniping units starting to be a little bit easier, and at least then you have a tanky front line to actually be helping out.
But hear me out. So the cool thing is that what just came in there. The Daimyo, this is Yumi play. I don't think you go Uma Bannerman. Yeah, Scarlet understands. You play Yumi here because you screwed up with the Mount Samurai. You're still ahead in ways that matter, like an age up. So because you're ahead, these knights have plastic shields. If you get Yumi veterancy and you get level 2 ranged upgrade, Mass Yumi just melts everything.
Yeah, and I don't think Corvinus ever got any eco upgrades. I think the wheelbarrow is the first one. Pro Scout's not even in. So that means that the fish that's soon to be running out. Remember, he got a good spawn with 4 fish around his dock. It's going to be running out any second now, and when that runs out, he needs to be going on to farms and berries on this map.
Yeah, I mean, they got their base rate buff, but yes, the berries themselves on this map in particular, a little bit difficult to justify. Dive comes in, idle villages that can't be protected here, so some freebies, but a trade on the other side. Nice move by Corvinus, mirroring the intent. We'll go into the Japanese base. Be careful, level 3 shot is now in. The Yumi are front lining, not ideal, but remember against these knights, they feel a little bit better, and the Jeanne's Riders do come out. Now, they will not die to this. They have too much ranged armor. And it looks like Corvinus, he's extracting so many kills off the back of this. Mount Samurai are finally addressing the knight count. But no doubt about it, Corv found the necessary damage to survive deeper into this game.
Yeah, it's going to be losing a lot of those knights in the back, though, but I don't remember what the number was before this. But that's a lot of villager kills.
Yeah. And the problem from Scarlet is the dive intent to begin with was fine. The follow-up made no sense. Instead of just rotating around the back of the TC, he dove straight through it without even seeking kills. I don't like that. I think Scarlet just had him by the long and curlies. Just show a little bit of patience. I think what happened there is Scarlet got dove at home and then immediately panicked in reaction to the play.
Yeah. And this is the first relic. Actually, no, it's more relics has been secured. They've just been dropped off
just
at home.
one.
Right, okay, so...
The interesting part is, like, Corv does have that longer life with the food, right? He has the second group of fishing that he walled in. So, like, he will at least still have some longevity in the feudal age. Warriors, we're nowhere near Castle Age. Still. And the Mounted Samurai are finally finding those villages.
But this game is so sloppy.
Yeah.
That's how Corvinus likes it. Okay, but that's how
you
Corvinus
gotta say
wins
that,
this game.
Cal, you gotta say it more emotion. That's how Corvinus loves it. There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. But that's how Corvinus wins it, right? If Scarlet is never able to use his tech advantage that well, you can see JD how well she deals with the Mounted Samurai right there, and the tankiness of the riders as well.
I mean, the problem
This is how
here.
Corvinus can do this, right? He's gotten a massive eco lead. He just needs to keep using it.
So the door's going to open because I think Scarlet's going to go 2TC. It's crazy. You'd think with 45 villagers, you'd be able to blob Yumi like crazy. But now, because of level 3 Jeanne, you have a bigger problem. If you go mass Yumi, she just doesn't die.
Yeah, that's not ideal either, but the main is the main problem. Pun very much intended. And the food eco looks bad for Corvinus, remember that, but look at the amount of consecrated buildings here. 4 consecrated buildings, and it's the most important ones as well, right? Stable and barracks, that's where you get the most. Knights down to 105 food.
I love this
35 food.
This is smart,
Yeah,
right?
this is amazing, yeah.
Because he's been diving economy, he's been losing the game. The military has to come out of these buildings. If you can just stationary here, Corvinus' army never gets bigger, despite the waste of resources to try and do so. Dive comes in, the Mount Samurai count is now looking healthy out of nowhere. Scarlet up to 9 in total. Jeanne, when it was 1 by 1, she was able to take him down. 2 by 2, 3 by 3, it's way too much here. Army's gonna get wiped. Corvinus, I mean, a good attempt to get back into this series in game number 3. With all the production being forward-facing, you can't help but feel as long as Scarlet doesn't overextend again, there's no way for the Hungarian to get back in.
And this almost feels like a bit of a French trap. I did this as well when I was playing JD a lot, when I was coming from maining French. Playing or placing your buildings like you were playing French. And that doesn't, you don't need to do that.
Oh.
When you are JD, you can place them wherever because you don't need that keep around it. And you see the cost of forward production in this game. If Corvinus had that back, had been able to mass up, had been able to play under his TC, this game would have still been going.
And you see the rise of China is the other important thing to take away from that, because that is, as Marino pointed out, a new face appearing in the top 16. Big congrats to Scarlet Devil qualifying through to the main event of EGC Masters Winters with a dominant 3-0 over Corvinus. That's incredible to witness.